What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be checking out this smart AI bird feeder that has a built-in 1080p camera. Now this particular camera comes from a company called Oylik, who specializes in home and kitchen products. Now in particular, this isn't really a kitchen product, but it does relate to the home. And as I'm beginning to focus more on gardening and hydroponics for this specific channel, I figured this is something that I could add to my continuously growing garden. Anyways, I'm excited to check this thing out so that we can add it to my ever-growing garden so that we have a good mixture of both wildlife and garden-growing vegetables. So stay tuned and we'll check this thing out. Okay, so getting back into this video, I'm going to assume that this product is for anyone who is interested in wildlife, nature, or anything of that nature. Because basically what I'm thinking this thing is just a bird feeder that allows you to see all the different types of birds that interact with it, who fly into your backyard, your front yard, or wherever you decide to place this. All right, so looking at the box, so far it looks like there's the camera that's 1080p. In addition to that, I think it's got some AI built into it because it does have bird species recognition, so you can automatically tell what birds are feeding from your bird feeder. It automatically does record, for those of you that are nature lovers who enjoy watching birds. This is great because it'll actually also record the footage when birds actually flock to this thing to feed. Looks like it's also got bird arrival notifications, so anytime any kind of bird or animal or anything for that matter that approaches this thing, it automatically lets you know that something's feeding from the device. Now the reason why I say any animal is because some people like myself also have squirrels that are pretty clever and typically like to get into whatever bird feed you put out. It's got 1.25 liters of seed capacity, so you probably won't have to refill this very frequently unless you've just got a ton of birds. Again, it records in 1080p live video. It's also got a 160-degree diagonal view angle, which means that it can see very far and at very large angles. It's IP65 waterproof, so rain is not an issue, so you can place this right out in the open. And then it's got 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which means that you can connect to this thing wirelessly. And again, this is a home smart device, so again, it runs on the 2.4 gig Wi-Fi bandwidth rather than things like 5 gigahertz like most smart home devices. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this and see what all comes with the package, and then we'll go ahead and set this thing up and see how well it works. Now, I'm not sure if during this video I'll be able to capture any bird footage, but it would be nice if I could showcase that on this video, but we'll see once we set this thing up. Now the box is very durable and actually is very difficult to open, but that just means it's a very tough and thick cardboard box that protects all the components within it. Okay, so you get a thank you note in the shape of a bird, which is nice, as well as what I think is the user manual and a guide for installing the bird device. Let's say you want to place it on a fence. There is a guide for the screw holes. So that's always nice, so that takes the guessing game out of it when you're trying to set this thing up. It's got very nice packaging. And then it's looking like the parts are made completely of plastic, and these are very nice, very thick and durable plastic pieces. Now the orange is a bit bright colored, so I guess it makes it a little bit more easy to notice from the birds themselves, but it does stand out just because of the bright orange colors. Let's just put this to the side. Okay, so we've also got this little box, and we're going to see what's in this little box. All right, so this looks like it's the solar panel, and it's a very thin, very durable, very nice feeling solar panel. So I gotta say, I do think the product, at least the components, are made up of some high quality materials. This is a very nice feeling solar panel. So there's that, okay? And then we've also got a little flower. And I guess this is for hummingbirds, if I read correctly in the description. There's this little flower module, I think, which is great for hummingbirds for drinking water specifically. So they pluck their little beaks into this thing and they can get water. So it's a little water module. And I'm not sure if regular birds can use it, but these are perfect for hummingbirds. Okay, there is the Wi-Fi antenna. You've got a mounting bracelet that lets you angle this thing, I guess. I'm not sure if this is actually for the birdhouse itself or the bird feeder itself, or if it's just for the camera, but we'll find out. And then what are these? And I think these are all the screws. Okay, so you got screws and washers, just a bunch of components. So all these little screws, plastic components. These, I think, I'm not sure what these are, but they're probably decoration type objects. So we'll see what all these are in a little bit. This is your USB-C to USB-A cable, or your Allen wrench, whatever you want to call it. Feels like it's Velcro. Yeah, so this is all a Velcro strap. So that's probably just the components box right there. Okay, so we'll just take that and put it aside. All right, so this looks like it's the bracket, which I guess you use to mount the bird feeder. And it is a thick, solid piece of iron. So definitely, yeah, nice solid bracket there. And then this looks like the bird feeder itself. Okay, so you've got the bird feeder, which is again made up of some very high durable, good quality plastic. It's thick and actually has some nice weight to it. And then on the front of this is the camera itself. And again, that is a very high quality looking camera. I'm not sure if you can see it, but we'll do some B-roll and zoom in on it. But it is a very high quality. Looks like it's also got some infrared, does pivot. So you want it, you can adjust it to see either further out, or you can face it more towards the tray itself where you put the bird seed. So however you do want to angle it, you can angle it. But yeah, it's a very high quality looking camera, that's for sure. Now on the back of this thing, this is where you would screw in the antenna itself. So the antenna is here, and this is specifically for Wi-Fi signal and connectivity, I guess. So then there is also this power outlet on the back, which is covered by a waterproof plug, and it is a USB-C port. So I would assume you take this USB-C cable, plug this USB-A end into a power adapter, and then you can plug it in the wall. So what's nice about this is you either have the option to use the USB-C and an AC adapter to plug it directly into the wall, or you can plug it directly into the solar panel, which I'm going to assume powers this thing as well. So two options for powering the device itself. Now I myself am going to use the solar panel because where I'm planning on placing this does not have an outlet anywhere near it. And it's probably just going to sit in the middle of my yard. So rather than run an extension cable across my yard, I'm just going to plug in the solar panel and just power this thing through solar power. So the last piece is, of course, this little perch. So you put this on the front of here, and I think you screw it in through the bottom. So you've got these little bolts that you can use to secure everything, and you just screw it in to secure the perch. So this does give a lot of room for a lot of different birds to perch on it. And then you've got all these little different little doohickeys, or whatever you want to call them, that you can place on here as well. Now I think this just makes it a little bit more pleasing to birds. I'm not sure exactly what these are for, but let's take a look at the instruction manual and I will tell you. Okay, so it does say these are fruit holders. So I guess you can stab little pieces of fruit into these and feed the birds that visit your bird feeder other things aside from just the bird seed that you put into the device itself. So what's also nice about this bird feeder is that at the bottom of the tray are these little slits, and it looks like it passes all the way through. That allows you to filter out any kind of moisture or water that might get into your bird seed. And that just allows the bird seed to stay dry, especially if you live in areas that are very humid or in areas where, it rains a lot. So you don't want that bird seed to become clumpy. So this just allows the moisture to be filtered away from the bird seed itself. So that's, something that's pretty nice as well. So taking a quick glance, there is also this little rubber stopper that looks like a cloud on the bird's feeder itself that blocks up this little gap that allows for automatic refill of bird seed. So if you were to fill up this entire reservoir with bird seed, and as birds continuously eat the food and the bird seed that's in this little tray, it'll automatically continuously refill. So that's something that's nice and reduces the amount of maintenance that needs to be done in order to refill this thing, which of course is very nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue putting on these little fruit holders. Now, I don't think you necessarily need to put these on there, especially if you're not gonna be putting fruit on them, but there are these metal components which I do just wanna cover up, so I'm probably just gonna leave these on there. And there is only 4 of them with 6 holes, so you know, you have the ability to space them out, I guess. But you know, for me, I'm just gonna fill up as many of these holes as possible, just to avoid any kind of rust or wear and tear. It does plug up that hole, so I'm just gonna put this here. What's nice also is that securing this little perch at the front with this bolt, it does come with extra bolts, so that's also nice. At least I don't know of where else I would put these bolts, but at least it does come with extras. Okay, so the perch is secured. The camera. Okay, so on the camera itself, there are the plugs in the ports at the top. So if you remove the top, there is the power button, which you just need to press and hold to turn on and turn off. There's also a micro SD card slot where you can place an SD card in case you want to record video. There's your USB-C port for the power. And then I think that's an LED right there, or a reset button, but it looks more like a LED actually. So that's where your ports are and how you power on this system. But you just cover it up, and it is waterproof. It's got a waterproof cover, and then slide the camera back up and it puts it under the roof of this little plastic device here. Okay, so you can mount it using this pivoting bolt, or you can just mount it directly. And I think these are the actual screws for it. Yeah, so you can mount it directly onto the device itself. Now, it does have also a port on the bottom, so if you want to mount this onto like a stick or a pole, you can do that as well. But once you bolt this on, the bolt actually bolts into the center here and connects to the top of this. And this is where you use the Allen wrench. So you would just turn it upside down and just tighten the bolt. And there you go, it's just mounted. And of course you would go ahead and mount this bracket first before you tighten and put the bird feeder on this platform itself, because you do need to screw it in to the back surface of whatever you're mounting this on. Now if you're putting it on a pole, you can put that on first and then just slide the pole right in underneath, and it just sit there in the middle of your yard. So that's the assembly there. Now what's nice is it also does come with a little plastic roof, which you can put on to the top of this just by sliding this in and clipping it on, which does allow you to refill the bird seed, but also keep it dry because the water would just flow right off this smooth roof and surface. It also does protect the camera as well from any kind of water damage, but it does not protect the bird seed in the tray, which again then is why you have these little slits in the bottom to allow for the water to filter through. So that is something nice. I am probably going to put this one at the end. Take this off, put this up here. And then on the edge here is where I'll put this little water reservoir. Now we don't have hummingbirds in our area, but I'm going to see, and it would be interesting to see if the birds actually use this to drink water as well. So that'll be something that I'm going to be excited and on the lookout for. This actually, I mean, you can use it for the bird feeder, but it's probably made for the solar panel itself. So you just want to mount this solar panel on somewhere near the bird feeder. It doesn't scare off the birds as well, but this is for the solar panel mount. Okay, so I'd probably put the solar panel higher or up on top of the fence, which will allow it to power this thing, which then again you take this plug and plug it directly into the back of the bird feeder itself. So it looks like this is the completed bird feeder. the fully assembled. You do get a lot of extra screws and parts, which is always nice. So what we'll do is we'll go outside, set this thing up, fill it full of bird seed, and then hopefully we'll capture some footage of some actual birds feeding using the bird feeder itself. So let's go ahead and go set this up, and then we'll walk through the setup of the app and the whole device itself. Now where I plan to mount this bird feeder is right here next to my 3D printed birdhouse that I made. Just because I see a lot of birds landing in this area, and I assume this will eventually become my bird real estate area for where I'm gonna house and put a lot of the bird related stuff. Now, to date, no birds have actually nested or taken ownership of the 3D printed birdhouse, but I assume that's just because it's very small, and the birds I've seen land here or even in our backyard have not been that small. So I think it's too small for any bird species that we have in this area. So I assume that's why no birds have taken a liking to this house yet. But with the bird feeder here, who knows? It could change things around or even make this more usable for birds themselves to perch on when they're waiting for their meal. So we'll see, but this is a perfect spot just because I've seen a lot of birds land in this area on this part of the fence. So where I'm gonna mount it is probably right around here. And then I'll put the solar panel right here as well, because this area also does get sunlight throughout the entire day. So it's a perfect spot, not just for the bird feeder itself, but also to capture enough sunlight to power the camera and the bird feeder itself. So we'll go ahead and get to installing this and see how it turns out. So first things first, I am going to mount the bracket that's going to hold the bird feeder itself. And I do have my level here to make sure that everything is straight. I want to make sure that I'm getting the strongest part of the fence, so the horizontal bracket. Now it probably does make sense to mount it a little bit higher, but for now I'm just going to place it here. Now, regardless if you are using the solar panel or the USB-C AC adapter, I would recommend you plug that into the back of the bird feeder itself first before you install the bird feeder. It just makes it a little bit easier and gives you a little bit more wiggle room. But once that's done, all you gotta do is mount the bird feeder. And we'll just place that there for now. Get the bolt ready and just screw that in. Now the other thing to remember when you're installing this is you don't want to move it too far away from your Wi-Fi signal, because in order for the app to work and for you to be able to control and view this remotely, you will need the Wi-Fi in order to connect to the bird feeder itself in the app. Okay, so now the bird feeder is secure. Now it's time to install the solar panel. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off of the solar panel and screw in the bolt first. Now I did decide to put this solar panel a little farther and a ways off from the bird feeder itself. No reason, but I just prefer it being over here. So get some screws, and we want to mount it as high and in the area that gets the most sunlight. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, and then we are going to attach the solar panel. Okay, and then the bird feeder is installed. Okay, so now that this bird feeder is installed, all we need to do is fill it with bird seed, set up the app, set up the camera, and see if any birds come to feed. So we'll walk through the whole setup process after this. Okay, so the next step now is to fill this bird feeder with bird seed. So we're going to be using this Southern Regional Blend for wild birds that I picked up from Costco. So all you gotta do is open it up and fill it up. Okay, and just to be sure, I did leave the rubber stopper on the front of the bird feeder so I could fill it up. And once it's all filled up, I just will remove this rubber stopper and let the seed flow through onto the tray. Okay, and now that it is filled up, I'm just gonna remove this little stopper here and let the bird seed come out. So I don't want too much of the bird seed to be out there, but I do want to allow it to refill itself as the birds start pecking and eating it. Now I don't want to fill the tray entirely up, and I'm just going to let it naturally fall out as the birds start feeding on it. And you know, I don't want to necessarily fill up the entire tray, although you probably could, but I'm just going to let it just keep filling up on its own as birds eat the food. And there is a little orange spot on the top. There's a little container pot spot where you can put the little stopper at the top of this little roof of the bird feeder itself. Okay, and then once it's all filled up, now it's all set up, we're gonna lower the roof and close it off. All right, so one thing I'm also gonna do is fill up this little water reservoir with water. Now, I'm pretty sure that this isn't gonna be used by any of the birds, but it doesn't hurt to fill this thing up with water and see if they do end up drinking out of it just by sticking their nose in it. Now, I don't know how sturdy and how heavy birds can get on here, but this thing is pretty sturdy. So, I mean, I don't think it can accommodate like 15 birds, but I don't oppose or don't think that that many birds will be too heavy that this thing can't handle it. And if it does, I'll just put a supporting bar underneath this using this little attachment down here. Okay, so I'm gonna fill this up with water, put it on there, and then we will install the app and also install the bird feeder and the software and see how well it works. Okay, so now to install the bird feeder and attach it to the app and get it all set up. So you'll need to go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and download the Vico Home security camera app. So I wonder if this can actually be used as a security camera as well. That would be cool. Okay, once it's open, okay, so now we're gonna open once we've downloaded the Vico Home security camera app, we're gonna go ahead and open it. Agree to the terms. And then get started now. So if you don't have an account, you will have to create an account. So keep that in mind. Okay, so you'll get a verification code through email. Okay, so once you've created your account, you're going to want to go in and add a new device. So you click that plus button. And on the bird feeder itself, you're going to want to turn the camera down. And there is a power button underneath this little rubber cover, which we shared with you before. And you're going to need to press and hold that power button until the light on the front is solid blue and there's a tone. Okay, so you click I heard the sound or saw the light on. I don't know if I'm supposed to wait till it's solid blue or not. Well, okay, I heard the sound, so click next steps. And then it'll automatically detect it. So right here, you'll see that it detects my bird feeder. And then we'll say allow while using the app. We don't want to select a 5G network. You want to set your 2.4 gigahertz network because this is a smart home device. So these don't connect to 5 gigahertz networks and instead need to be connected to a 2.4 gigahertz network. Okay, so we will connect. Maybe it does support. Okay, so it does say that 5 gigahertz networks are not supported currently. So we are connected to a 2.4 gigahertz. Once you put in your network credentials, you click next. Okay, just some instructions, and then you click join. Okay, so a QR code will show up, and what it says is, of course, you need to put the QR code in front of the camera, and then you'll hear a little beep.
Connection succeeded.
And you hear a little tone that says connection succeeded. Okay, and then the blinking blue light will turn into a solid blue light. And it says it's supposed to redirect us to the next step, but I'm not. Okay, there we go. It just takes a little bit of time. And then it starts connecting your feeder to the network. Then you'll get a connection succeeded prompt. And then there you go. We'll just call this bird feeder. Smart bird feeder. And we will create the location as backyard. Confirm. Click next step. Oh, okay, I guess it's smart camera now. We're using solar. And then finish. We aren't going to use the cloud storage. We'll continue with the free plan. So as you can see, I've already got an image on here. It's already started to capture my picture on here. And you can play back. So I guess this can be used as a security camera as well, because there is motion detection and it will start recording upon motion detection. So as you can see right now, it's got video of myself on there. Now, I don't know if there is internal memory, but there is the option to add additional SD cards to it so you can store more footage. And I am going to do that so I can capture and share some of that footage in this video. Okay, and that's just a live view actually, now that I think about it. So you can do live streaming as well. Okay, and it does also, in the app itself, it does tell you the battery level, the strength of the Wi-Fi, and also if it's connected. You have a library of all the footage that it's collected real time. And then you have different users with different functionality. So there's device management, allows you to control the different devices, any shared devices. You can add other devices from either your own or your friends' locations. There's location management, so there is GPS thanks to the Wi-Fi. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and let this thing run, see if we capture any interesting footage or any interesting species of birds trying to eat the food, and then we'll come back and talk about what I think about this bird feeder. Okay, so I've had the smart bird feeder set up for a couple of days now, and really, I haven't captured as much footage as I thought I would of birds feeding. And that could be primarily because it's been crazy hot outside, or maybe even because of the time of the year. Now, what I was worried about was that there may be squirrels also trying to get to the bird feeder just because of where it's placed. Squirrels can easily access it, so that also might be scaring off some of the birds. Now, I haven't captured any squirrels on film yet, but I'm assuming that might be one of the reasons as well. Now, I did manage to capture a lot of footage while I was installing and setting up the bird feeder, and the footage from my camera is amazingly clear. It's also crisp and very, very high quality. Now, I did capture some footage of some birds, which I'll share in this video as well, but overall, it wasn't as much as I had thought, and that's probably because I've only had this thing for a couple of days and only really just set it up recently. Now, I do love the fact that the built-in camera has AI and smart features built in, and it can recognize up to 10,000 different species of birds. I also love the fact that the camera records at 4K quality at a 16:9 ratio. Now, you do have the option to adjust the quality of the camera to HD or SD, depending on how much battery life you want to conserve or use. Now, not only is the camera high quality, but overall the entire bird feeder is made up of some very durable materials, and it feels extra sturdy. And as you saw in this unboxing and setup video, it's also got a 3-watt solar panel that provides just enough power to keep the bird feeder fully charged, and it works very well. And that allows it to maximize the 5,000 milliamp hour battery that's built into the bird feeder itself. Now, the funny thing is that I also caught footage of a black cat that likes to come into my backyard every night. And that was really thanks to the fact that the camera on the bird feeder has a wide angle and full color night vision capabilities. So that is also an extra feature that is pretty nice that the camera has. So with all that in mind, if you're looking for an excellent bird feeder for yourself or as a gift for others that has an amazing number of features, then I would definitely recommend this one from Oylik. It's probably one of the best and most advanced bird feeders that I have seen on the market. I know there are a lot on the market, but for one, this thing definitely proved that it's worth the value. Now, if all of that is not enough for you, this also works great as an additional security camera thanks to its HD camera and motion sensing and recording technology. Anyways, if you're interested, I'll leave a link to this in the description section below, as well as any promotional codes that I might have on hand. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed and found this video helpful. Please smash that like button and subscribe to support this channel, and leave me a comment below if you have any questions or if you've used this bird feeder or something similar before, and let me know what you think. Hopefully I'll be able to capture some more footage of birds using the bird feeder, and if you'd like to see an update, please make sure you also ring that bell icon to get notified when I post new content. Anyways, thanks for checking out this video. I'll see you next time.